Antaryascha bahirvidutatimiram Jyotirmayam Shashvatam Sthanam Prapya Virajate Vinamatam Ajnanamunmulayan Pashyan Vishwamapidamullasatiyo Vishwasya Pare Paraha Tasmai Sri Ramanaya Loka Gurave Shokasya Hantre Namaha Satpratyaya Kim Nubihaya Santam Hridyesha Chinta Rahito Hritakya Kadam Smaramastamameyamekam Tasya Smritihi Tatra Dridhaiva Nishtha. Ahankara is called a pishacha in the previous verse, verse number 26, 27. Pishacha, ghost. A ghost is an appearance. No body is seen of a ghost. It assumes the body and appears in front of us. Even as you try to understand the form of it, it will disappear. Similarly, Rupodbhavo Rupatati Pradishto Rupashane Duta Hridi Grihita Rupaha Swayam Virupaha Swavichara Kale Davatyahankara Pishacha Yeshaha. Ahankara Pishacha Yeshaha Dhavati runs. When? Swavichara Kale. You see, विचार करना इतना कठिन है हमारे लिए. For us to do the reflection, inquiry is so difficult. Why? Because we don't see any problem. When there is no problem, why it should be unnecessarily inquired? What is that? What they call it here? Ain't broken, don't fix it. If it is not broken, you don't need to worry about fixing it. Only when it is all going in sixes and sevens, then you wonder what I should do now. And very often, when we get hurt, when we get depressed, dejected, feeling sad, we know we don't want to be that. But then, because of some failure, some other thing that caused this kind of a sadness or sorrow, we look around, everybody is feeling the same way, When something happens, we feel sorrow. So I am no better. I am also same only. This, for a Manushya, it is common. So we take it for granted. It is a part of our life. And then we feel sad and sorrowful, depressed, dejected, whatever. And we know time is the healer. And these are also another thing that we say to ourselves. And then we get going. So the vichara, inquiry, takes place only when a person has that eagerness to discover that state of being where one cannot be hurt. One cannot be victim of one's life situations. As I said in the previous session also, if there is a crime has taken place and there is no evidence available for the investigator to find out what could be, who could be the one who did that, he has to check out who could be the probable enemy of this person. Where you have to start from what is available to you. You do not know who the criminal is. Start from the victim. Who is the enemy? Who could be the one who wants to hurt him? All right. And what is the motive? What is the motive behind this killing? Is it vengeance? Is it money? Is anything looted? If anything is disappeared from the house, has anything been taken away? Who else is killed in the house? What will be the entry point? What will be the exit point? Is there anywhere a person has left behind something? Anybody else knows nearby? All that. In the same way, when we are trying to find out cause of our sorrow, not every day we are sorrowful. That's not the point here. What could be reason for, in general, we becoming a victim of life situations? Whether it can be body related, physically, or emotional. Sometimes it is because of the intellectual, disturbances. Somebody or something causes disrespectful behavior from somebody, or somebody talking ill of, all that. So humiliation, dishonor, disrespect, or it can be related to emotion. Somebody ignores you, somebody is hurting by saying some things or behaving in particular ways. All that. So once we understand we are the victim of unpredictable situations in life, then only we realize there should be somebody who is doing this. And we cannot go on blaming the world for this, because not always the same people are doing this. It may be at home, maybe same thing you feel at office also, some social gathering. Then there must be something which is common in all this. That is something in me. Something which is already in me is what is causing it. And if a person says, Swamiji, wherever I go, I have a problem. My dear, understand. Wherever you go, problem means wherever you go, you are the only person who is common there. So there must be problem with you only. It cannot be outside. So, Rupa Udbhavaha, Rupa Dadi Pradishtaha. Rupeshu, Sukshmeshu va, Stuleshu va, Udbhavaha. And it is establishing itself or remaining itself associated with certain qualities and characteristics of the Antakaranas or the Sukshma Sharira or Sthula Sharira, gross body. And Rupa Ashanaha, constantly engaging in experiencing the sense objects according to its own. And when things are not there, it goes to another one. When that is not there, it goes to another one. Duta Grihita Rupa. One thought is gone, it picks up another thought. One body is gone, it picks up another body. Swayam Virupa. It does not have its own form. Swavicharakale davati. Only when you inquire, vicharam nahasahate ahankaraha. Ahankar is this one which cannot stand inquiry. So here, the next verse, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, where does it appear and when does it disappear? If it is permanent, then there is no solution. If it is temporary, then we have to find out when it is appearing and when it is disappearing. Bhavo hama sarvamidam vibhati laye hamo naiva vibhati kinchit tasmadaham rupamidam samastam Tanmarganam sarvajayaya margaha bhave hamas sarvamitam vibhati Laye hamo naiva vibhati kinchit tasmadaham rupamidam samastam tanmargane sarvajayaya margah. Ahamaha bhave sarvamidam vibhati. Idam sarvam vishvam lokam. The whole world here, whichever what we experience, ahamaha bhave, on the appearance of bhave, appearance of ahamaha, of aham. Ahamaha laye, when ahankara is subsided, naiva vibhati kinchit, na kinchit vibhati, nothing is seen. So this is a very well-known fact in our life, that the world that comes to be experienced by us is not there when the ahankara is in a laya sthiti, in sleep. Upon waking up of this I, everything, including the body, our own thoughts and emotions and feelings and memory, world, everything opens up as soon as I wake up. I wakes up. I think in the last class only we discussed this point. I'm not sure. Somebody asked this. Say, Swamiji, if I go to sleep, my world goes to sleep. But for others, the world is still there. So that is why in Panchadashi chapter 4, which we are dealing in Sundays, there is this Dvaita Vivek. So Dvaita Vivek kya hai? Ishvara Srishti tada Jiva Srishti. Ishvara Srishti na layam gacchati Ishvara Ajnam vina. Without the command of the Lord, the world cannot disappear. Parantu, Jiva Srishti Antakaranat Udbhavatvat, because the Jiva Srishti is born out of the mind of the individual seer, Layam Gacchati eva Sushuptau. It goes to the state of none and absence at the time of sleep. Now, in the sleep of yours, when you go to sleep, or when you go to state of dream, sleep, put together, your world ends, whatever you experience. But the world that is supposed to be seen by all others is being sustained by the same consciousness which you as an individual reflecting in your own antakarana able to see, but the consciousness reflecting in others' mind continues to be sustained by them. You switch off light here does not mean current is out. This set of lights are out. Current is still on. In somebody's house, current is still on. That will light up their house. Current remaining the same, individual lights are switched off. In your home, consider your home as antakarana, in which that current is passing through. And when you switch off all the lights in your home, meaning you have shut down everything, in your home, it's darkness. But the neighbor's house, it is on. You cannot say, when I switch off, that also should go. That will be dangerous then. This is one way of looking at how the world is sustained, even though you have shut down. Current is there. Even when you go to sleep, consciousness does not go to sleep. Body doesn't sleep. Body sleeps. If body goes to sleep, then 4 people have to carry you. You know that? Your heart is functioning, breathing is going on, digestion is going on, blood is circulated, you are getting old. That is going on in your body. So body is not sleeping. This Paramatma, he does not sleep. You, the individual, that is what is referred here. Ahamaha bhave idam sarvam vibhati. Idam sarvam should be understood at this point of pradibhasika satta rupa vishwam vibhadi ahamaha bhave pradibhasika satta rupamidam vishwam layam gacchati ahami laye, ahama laye. Now we have seen Vyavaharika Satta and Pradibhasika Satta, the reality of two kinds. Vyavaharika means transactional reality. Pradibhasika means individuals' perceptual reality. The perceptual reality is twofold. One is a dream, another is your perception of the world. So I see something, and you also see the same thing, but we don't think same way. Because my jnanam and karma and memory makes me see or perceive things in one way, and your knowledge, your background, your karma, etc. will make you see the same thing in a different way. I may like it, you may dislike it. I may want it, you may don't want it. All that. That is pradibhasika satta, according to pratibhasa, reflection. Whereas vyavahare sarvam satyam iva bhati. If I'm looking at a table, you are also looking at the table only, nothing else. But how I look at the table is different from how you look at the table. Let us say both of them we are going IKEA. Sab kiya hai mein. So this world will is called IKEA. Because it's all created by I only. So let us, and I need a table, and therefore when I go to that place, I look for where is the table that I want. Whereas you came for a, let us say you want to buy a bathroom furniture, let us say. So you, even though right there in front of you would be a table, nice looking, but your attention would not be in that. Why? Because your priority is different. So even though the world is the same, what I look for is different from what you look for. But the world is the same. So Vyavaharika Satta is the world being transactionally same. But Pradibhasika Sattaya, in that stand of Pradibhasika Satta, my reality of a thing which I want is not your reality of things, meaning what you want. So this can go on like that. Now, so what is the Ishvara Srishti? Is Vyavaharika Satta. What is Jiva Srishti? Is Pradibhasika Satta. In this Vyavaharika Satta, there is no issue at all. World is not causing the real trouble to us. The most of the troubles are created by how I perceive. Perceptual reality is what causes the problem. So, when ahankara appears, idam sarvam vibhadi, when it is said, ukta lakshana ahambhave sarvamidam sarvam jagat vibhadi pradibhadi. Ahamaha laye tasmin ahambhave line sati kinchin naiva vibhadi na kimabi moola swarupa udbhava bhavena rupa udbheda bhavena rupat bheda bhavena drishyate. See, Ramana Maharishi's standpoint is different. What I said so far is the Vedanta standpoint. Whereas Ramana Maharishi says, Jo aap kehte hain Vishwam iti, what you are saying as the world, which is independent of your perceptual reality, what you call it as a transactional reality, is also available to you only when the ahankar is there. Is there any trouble with the world when you have gone to sleep? So the reality of the transactional world is also with respect to ahankar only. With ahankar is not there, the world is not there, whether it is transactional or perceptual. That is his standpoint. You must understand how it comes, how it is to be understood from his standpoint. Let me give this example. See, pot is there, and the pot was not there before it was made. It was only a clay, right? When the clay is made to look like a pot by the potter, I and you, when you look at the pot, we call it as a pot only and not clay. The reality of the pot is same to you and to me, both. We both call it as a pot only. But if I ask you the question, is it pot or a clay? You will say clay pot. But actually what it is, you say, I have to say clay. Right? But transactional means what? What we look at it and conclude it as. No, none of us would say clay, 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 clay. No, we say pot. That is called transactional because we have taken the nama and rupa to be real. Be careful when I am taking this line of thinking. So we say pot, both of us accept pot. And while we know it's clay, right? Now, no, you cannot deny it is not clay. It is clay, all right, but for transactional purpose, we call it as a pot. All right. If somebody says it's only a clay, you say, yeah, you're right also. So from a jnani standpoint, you would say Sarvam Brahma. Now what will you do with that? Is he telling wrong? मैं तो नाम और रूप को देख रहा हूं, आपको उसका आधार को देख रहे हो. ज्ञानिनः दृष्टि आधारे जीवस्य दृष्टि व्यवहारे. The individual person's reality and perception is on the transactional aspect of it. Whereas a wise person who has understood Sarvam Brahma iti, he will look at the Aadhar and he is not wrong as much as if somebody says it's all clay. And you will say, yeah, that is true. You have to accept. So from the Ramana Maharshi standpoint, so-called Nama and Rupa you are talking about, hai hi nahi hai. That is what he is saying here. Idam sarvam vibhadi na kinchit vibhadi, but Nama Rupatmakam jagat na vibhadi iti. The so-called name and form which you are referring to as the world doesn't exist. And that is what we deal with. He doesn't deny the Sat aspect of that world, which is same as my existence. We will come to that little later on that point. So, Nama Rupatmakam Jagat Ahankara Rupam. Ahankar ki roop hi hai. Because that is what ahankar is. We are dealing with that only most of the time. Just like we will deal with pot and the plates and the ladles and other things, even though we are constantly dealing with clay only. So from the jnani standpoint, it is clay. From regular standpoint, it is pot. When jnani says it is clay, he is not wrong. When you say it is pot, you are also not wrong. That namarupatmaka jagat ahamabhave pavibhati ahamalaye na vibhati. Kinchit. So now you understand. Now, he says, tasmad, therefore, idam saham rupam samastam. Whatever you experience of the world is aham rupam, ahankara rupam. Anena karanena sarvam jagat aham bhava vikaratmakam eva. It is only the manifestation of aham. The whole world, which you come to see as variety, which comes to being when you wake up, and which comes to be not there when you go to the state of sleep. So when we realize aham eva, ahankara eva, sarvamidam, if you are deviating your attention from the substratum, when you look at the names and forms as the world, that word is ahankara rupam. Why he says ahankara rupam? Because when we see names and forms, we invariably see differences. Veda drishti eva sambhavati. Is it not? Pot is tall, pot is short, pot is good, pot is broken. Similarly, we look at the world with do's and don'ts and good and bad and right and wrong and likes and dislikes. So, tad marganam. Marganam, what is that margan here means? Marganam anveshanam. To find out what that ahankar, ahankarasya marganam, anveshanam. What is that which is causing these apparent distinctions, which eventually causes likes and dislikes, etc. Sarvesham sanganam jayaya. For the sake of overcoming, conquering everything, vidunanaya, to remove, tyagaya, to let go, ityartaha margaha sadhanam. Tanmarganam sarva jayaya margaha. Tadanveshanam ahankara anveshanam sarva jayaya margaha. That alone is the means to conquer the ego, conquer the difference, conquer the likes and dislikes, conquer all reasons that all things that victimize us in this world. So in the inquiry, self-inquiry, Ramana Maharishi's methodologies, let the world be what it is. We will not worry about that. What causes the problem to us, which is our own ahankar? That is what we need to conquer, destroy. But his one-pointed attention is on koham. What is this I, which causes all the trouble? Now you see, there are one more dimension to this. That is, I gave the example of clay is made into pot. We call it as a particular name. And that is common perception to all. Everybody calls it as a pot. TK. Now, when we see the snake instead of rope, that is not common to all. The rope is not always seen by everybody as snake. So the other dimension of this ahankar is ajnana. in the ahankar is becoming a via media for the maya to work. The maya has two aspects, as you know. Avarana and vikshepa. Covers the reality and projects something else. So when I see a rope, when I see a thing lying down, instead of seeing it as a rope, I see it as a snake, is not caused by rope at all, that I know later on. But also, no, not anybody else is causing this. Nobody else is telling me it's rope, it's snake, it is snake, it is snake, it is snake. You see it as a snake. No. मैं देख रहा हूं सर्प को. This sarpadrishti ajnanena. In the same way, our individual problems which we happen to project on the world, that is caused by not understanding our own self, which is of the nature of ananda. But since it is not understood as the nature of joy and ananda, there is a laguna, there is a vacuum created as though I'm in need of ananda. And therefore, in need of ananda, I create a notion of ananda on objects. And that notion of ananda, I project it on them. And then I go after them. When I don't get it, I get disturbed, angry, or upset. These are all not caused by the world. Koi uska karan nahi hai. Nobody participates in that also. खुद मैंने बात किया है सब. I किया. So therefore, we must understand this aspect also. When does it or how that maya works? Avarana vikshepa rupao, in the form of concealing and projection. And that is also through ahankara. Ahankara eva maya pravritti. The expression of maya in the individual is ahankara. Aham karta, aham ka bhokta iti rupena. So, in this verse, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, unless you discover this moolam of this ahankar, that is called anveshanam, atma anveshanam. Now, when I understand ego rises up and the world rises up, ego settles down, the world settles down. Before the ahankar again rises up, next time, the next part, when I go to sleep, ahankar goes down or it disappears. And then from there it again appears. All right. So the gap between its disappearance and next appearance, what happens there? What is there? Satyastitirnahamudeti yatra tacchodayasthana gaveshanena Minananashet yeditannanashet Swatmaikya rupa katamastu nishta Satyastitirnahamudeti yatra tacchodayasthana gaveshanena Vinananashet tannanashet Swatmaika rupa kadamastu nishta. See, every verse has got a different dimension, different thing to put it for our contemplation. When we start recognizing, and some people say, oh, meditation mein humko kya karna hai? Pata nahi. Chup-chup baithna bas. What should we do in meditation? Just sit quietly. What to be done? Sitting quietly is not meditation. You better sleep, no? What is the difference? What difference it will make? If you're sitting quietly, it doesn't make any difference if you don't get anything. You sleep. At least body will rest. So what is this sthiti where aham is no more and it is disappeared and it has not yet started? Yatra aham na udeti, where ego does not rise. Satya sthitihi tat. That is your true state. That is your state of self, self-abidance. So, if I need to go to that point of where the aham is not, I have to go and find out where it is starting. What is the state before aham starts? If I need to know that, I have to go where it starts. Unless I go and search for its birthplace, I would not know what was the state or what is the state before its birth. What is the Udayasthanam? Udayasthanam of aham is a place where a sthanam is there where ahankar is not. Where ahankar is not, yatra aham na udeti, where the aham is not. So therefore he says, Udayasthana gaveshanena vina na nashyet. So again, coming back to the example of pot. Without the pot, clay can exist. Which means before the pot was made, clay was clay only. You cannot look at a clay and say pot. So the clayness is not potness. So the pot originated from clay, which means the clay exists without the pot. At some point of time, clay exists without the pot. Unless I go and look at the Moolasthanam of aham and understand that state where the aham is not, if I don't do that, I will not be able to stop the aham comprising up. You see, what is the usual methodology of any physician diagnosing a disease? As far as I know, they go and find out what is the source of this problem? What chemical or what reactions have taken place in the body of the person and what. So when he goes there, oh, this is the imbalance or something else, this happened here. That is the reason why this particular person is prone to this particular disease. If he understands, probes into it, and then say, let me correct that part, because of which this imbalance doesn't happen. Especially in Ayurveda, Kapha, Vata, Pitta imbalance is what is the problem. So if a person is a Kapha Prakriti, because of which constantly has Ajyadarya, Shrotasa, Samam continuously goes on from the nose. Constantly sneezing and okay, now we have to find out this Kapha imbalance, how it happened. What they do, they go hunting for what could be the reason for that person's Kapha imbalance. So go there and correct that part. Once you correct that part, then the Kapha imbalance will not take place. So unless you see the source and destroy the origin of aham, you will not be able to understand the constant state of absence of aham. So nowadays they are working on DNA, right? So they look at the common problem. Let us say XYZ people, there are some 10 people have got a particular cancer, for example. They go and take out their DNA and see what is that. It's so difficult because it's only computer can do that, because millions of data is involved in this. So they have to see, they match the DNAs and see what are the peculiarities of the person which makes the individual individual, and what is the commonness in all of them. The common factor being taken out of their DNA, and then see in the absence of that common factor, can they get the cancer? Because if this is the common factor in all of them, in the correction of that, another person of the similar kind, when it comes, we know that where to attack that. Okay, this is the cause for that. So they are working at the level of a DNA, not at the level of physical bodies, And that's why yesterday I was talking to someone, is saying, nowadays, Swamiji, they are reducing the practice of chemotherapy. It's no more considered as the effective method, and also it causes major trouble to the other parts of the body. So they are now going one step further. Without chemo, how do we negate or neglect? How do we remove the factors causing the cancer? So anyway, I do not know subject matter, so I am not going into that. Here, the point is, yatra satyastitihi na udeti. It doesn't appear. That point, tacha udayasthana gaveshanena vina, without understanding the origin of aham, nanashet. It will not be possible to overcome that. Because why it is interesting for us to know is, all our aham is not the same. Ahankar is not the same in all of them. If you take a 10-year-old child, it also has got ahankar. Don't think that the small children they do not have. They have ahankar, but not in the way we have. We have over, how many people look at me, how many people smile at me, how many people respect. That child doesn't care about that. It's not interested in that. Its interest is something else. And there also, my toy, my this, my friend, all that will be there. Wherever that minus and minus is there, ahankar is there. Even in a small child which has minus and minus will have ahankar. So even in our own case, on which we have the ahankar at some point of time, because tadatmya roopam ahankara. What is ahankar? Tadatmya, identification. What we are strongly identified when we were 20-year-old, it's not the same when we 30, 35 or 40. So before you got married, when you did not have a wife and children or husband and children, you were not having ahankar or the tadatmya with them, because they were not even there. Now, if you, let us say, somebody makes a remark about your daughter, or how dare you make that statement? So now where is your ahankar? You can tell me anything about me, but not about my son. That was not there before you got married. So ahankar need not remain the same way at all times. It will keep changing. After some day, it can be grandchildren. You tell me about my son, I cannot tolerate, but not about grandchild. Your son is so useless, that I know, you don't need to tell me. But don't tell anything about my grandson. So now it has moved to grandson now. Some people have on dogs, on cats, buffaloes and all that. So you do not know where it comes, and it's not the same. So Anveshanam to find out what is the root. Without that, Udayasthana Gaveshanena Vina Nanashyet. It won't go. Yadi tad nashyet. If it doesn't, it is not destroyed. So Atmaika Rupa Kadamastu Nishta. Then how is this possible for one to abide in Atman as Brahman? How we can abide in the self? Because the whole topic is about what? Atmanishta. Abidance in the self. How is that going to happen? If the Ahankar, which is the major problem here, is not even destroyed, and destruction cannot take place unless you know the source, where it is starting. So, Atma, Ahankar, Anveshanam, Avashyam Karaniyam. Inquiry into the origin of your ego has to be done. Do all other things. You may study Upanishad, you may study Gita, you may chant stotrams, you go to attend lectures. Kuch bhi karo bhai. Oh, problem, oh, the criminal is still sitting there, laughing at you. Maine sab pad liya. 18 chapters to go khatam kiya maine. I finished 18 chapters of Gita. Kya hai? What is there then? What is it got to do with? Usme bhi ahankar hoga. I finished all the 18 chapters. Yeah, there also ahankar will smile there. So, Swatmaikya Rupa Kadamastu Nishtha. How is that possible? So, Aham Dinodbhasya Dinodgadasya Parvartate Yatra Yasyam Sitau Aham no Iteti Sa Satyastitihi Bhavati Aham Bhavasya Udayat Prag. Before the origin of the Ahankar, Yastitihi Sa Tannashat Param Api Vartate Eva Iti Grahyam. That state where Ahankar was not there before its birth will be the same state upon the destruction of the Aham. Okay, let me see you the example. The Shanti and the peace that you have got before you woke up to this world will be the same when again you go back next day to the point. Today night when you go to that state of sleep, you're going back to the same point where you left behind in the beginning of the day. That is why we are interested to go there. Why do we need to go to sleep? Why are we going to sleep? Unless it is a great place of joy. Would you go there? Every day I have to sleep. I don't know why this is such a thing. Duty maja karna hai. Kal, sir, every day I have to do this. I said, oh, that is what you're thinking? Like, that's what you're thinking about sleep? Swamiji, I would just give a moment. I'll just go there. Even if I get a 10 minutes break. Unless it is a state of joy, why do you go there? Now, what is that state? That is a state where Ahankara was not there. And that is a state where Ahankara would not be at the end of the day. So in the same way, the Ahankara Nasha, Ahankara Udayat Prag, before the birth of Ahankar, Tat Sthitihi Eva, that place alone, Ahankada Nashanat Urdhvam. At the after the destruction of the ego also will be Udayat Prag, Nashat Param. Before the birth of ego, after the destruction of the ego. Cha Siddhayaha Sthidehe ahambhava pravritti kale api satta vartamana api ahambhava pravartanena atma apasya ahankarasya na vidita bhavati. See, in the case of those who realized this, where they consciously go to that state of no ahankar by their own deeper inquiry and meditation, when they reach that point knowingly, consciously, deliberately, awarefully, and then when they wake up to the world and look at the world with the so-called existence of ahankar, according to this commentator, says, such a person, ahambhava pravritti kale api satta vartamana api ahambhava pravartanena atmabhasya ahankarasya na vidita bhavati. Their attention will not be anymore on this so-called elusive ahankara playing about, for they know it is not real. This is a state of a Jivan Mukta. See, from other standpoint, the Jivan Mukta also will be acting like anybody else, walking, talking, saying, smiling, all the other thing, and he will say, I like this, I don't like this, etc. So we may think, then he was kya farak hai? The same, this person also say that, but what? No. In his case, he knows the absence of it. He has recognized and realized the absence of it. And he has gone there consciously. And he has stayed there, that's called Atmanishta. And so having stayed there without that ahankara arising anywhere, and then when the so-called ahankara appears, they know this is not me. So even when it is there, pravartamane api, vartamane api, that is what is called Atma Brahma Nishtatvam, Aikya Nishtatvam. That state where Atman and Brahman has become one, where the Ahankar, even though it appears to be there, they are able to remain unattached to that and watch it playing. Chalo, chalo, aapka kam karo. And they know it is there because of the prarabdha. Because the body is already present and it has to continue its work till death. So therefore, Ahankara is the one who is going to sustain it. Because it's Maya's work, Prakriti working through the Ahankara until the body is completely gone. So they are able to remain watchful of this Ahankara, and their Ahankara will be unharmful. Because they would not allow it to go out of hand. They will watch it, and that's why Ramana Maharshi would say it is like looking at the moon during the bright sunlight. You watch it, it will be there, but it is of no significance at all. It cannot shed any light to anybody. Can the moonlight shed any light to anybody when the sun is fully present? So it will be there. So that is the nature of so-called, it is called falsified ahankara, called badita ahankara. Badita means falsified ahankara, the falsified ego. If you try to hurt him, he will smile. What are you trying? You think I get upset about this? Wo to pishach hai. You don't try to tap that. Not out of arrogance, it's only trying to tell you that you cannot do it. It's not going to work with me. And whether it's tragedy or comedy, gain or loss, success or failure, such a person, that's why Bhagavan Krishna says, what called such a person is tulya nindastutir moni santushto yena kenachit aniketastiramadihi. In the 12th chapter, about his bhakta, he says, Tulya, same, Ninda Stutihi. You criticize him or you do glory of him. Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni. Mauni means contemplative and he is silent. Santushto, ever happy. Ena kenachit, for whatever be the reason. Aniketaha, does not stay in one place. Stiramadihi, but at the same time, mind is steady on that awareness. Bhaktimano yes same priyaha. He is the most dear to me. So ahankara anveshanam. Trying to find out the original starting point of ahankara. Ye anveshan karna chahiye. Koham iti koham. How to do that? That is in the next verse onwards. How to do the anveshanam. How to find the origin of ego. We'll see in the next session. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabhat bhavet. Om shanti shanti shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.